People. Wow, what a day, man. I've just watched the Sergio Aguero press conference from Barcelona. And I'll be honest with you, man, it done me in. Done me in, man. Listen, people can take the piss all they want, but to see our hero crying like that, the way his career ended, it's just a bit too much to swallow, you know what I mean? It's like you wanted to reach through the telly in it and just give him a bit of a cuddle and that, and just tell him everything will be all right. Don't you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's a tough one to talk about for me. You know what I mean? How it's ended with him. Do you know what I mean? He's got to obviously put his health first and his young family first. He's had a fantastic career. But I don't think any of us thought he'd end like that. You know what I mean? We thought he'd probably go to Barcelona and he'd do all right for them. You know what I mean? We knew his time at City had come to an end after a decade, and we knew it was probably the right time for him to move on. But to see Sergio like that, for me, it was tough, man. It was tough. So I thought, you know what? I'll do a little video. Do you know what I mean? We'll do a little video and we'll bring about some good memories for Sergio. You know what I mean? We'll talk about some good times. I mean, for me personally, Sergio Aguero is the greatest I've ever seen at Manchester City. You know, the memories Sergio has given me and the honour of watching him over the years. You know what I mean? I'm blessed. I mean, I've got tattoos. I've got Aguero on me. You know what I mean? That's how much he means to me. You know what I mean? I've got Sergio on me forever. You know what I mean? We've got the painting that the lovely Lagan Making did. But yeah, it was a little bit hard to watch. But listen, Sergio Aguero, the little Argentinian, yeah, who changed football history in Manchester forever. He changed the landscape in Manchester. Do you know what I mean? When Sheikh Mansour came in and we signed Robinho, Adebayor, Craig Bellamy, Roque Santa Cruz, people were like, look at this club. They're signing these mercenaries, yeah? They're signing these players that, you know what I mean, they're going there for the money, blah, 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 blah. And then one summer, you start to get the whiff in the papers. Manchester City are after Sergio Aguero. And at the time, Sergio Aguero was one of the most promising youngsters in world football. He was an Atletico Madrid gunman. He just won UEFA Cup. He was young. He was explosive. He was just dynamic. He was just like, wow. And then that's when you're looking, thinking, please. I remember I'm going, please to God, we need to sign this kid. We need to sign Aguero. And I remember 2 or 3 days, there was like, oh, Man United's going in for him. Real Madrid want him, but he's got a clause at Atletico and he can't go Madrid and da-da-da-da-da. And then you're thinking, is it all smoke screens? You know what I mean? And then there was a rumour that the deal was going to get done. And I remember looking on Twitter and nothing was happening, because Twitter back in the day was like the place, wasn't it? Nothing was happening. And then all of a sudden, he changed his location on his Twitter profile to Manchester. And that is when the party poppers went off, mate. We were like, fuck me, we're going to sign Sergio Aguero. And we signed him. No mercenary, you know what I mean? Didn't come for the money, came for the project. They sold him the dream, told him to come to Manchester City and you'll become a legend. You'll become a legend in Manchester, you know what I mean? And he did. And he did it in style, you know what I mean? I remember them first 2 goals. Swansea on his debut, comes off the bench, made it look so easy. Back post tapping Mikarich's cross, then edge of the box pinged it. And you're like, what a player we've got. Just made it, you just know the level of play you've got when you've seen how easy it was to Sergio to score them goals, you know what I mean? I remember his first hat-trick against Wigan. Easy again, you know what I mean? You're thinking to yourself, what a player we've got here. Sergio Aguero, what a player. What else stands out with Sergio? Villarreal, Champions League, was struggling. Last minute, tapping, back post. He was just there at the right time. He had everything. Left foot, right foot, header. They said, oh, he's going to struggle in the Premier League. He's too small. The guy was an animal. and he took to the English game like a duck to water, and he took to Manchester City like he grew up here. Do you know what I mean? He embraced it. He embraced the Mancunian culture. He embraced the City. Do you know what I mean? Sergio Aguero lived here in Manchester for 10 years. Yeah. He never caused anyone an ounce of trouble. You never seen him on the back pages, front pages for the wrong reasons. You know, we got on about life. And there was a documentary a few years ago on the Amazon. And when you looked at him on there, he looked a bit lonely. You know what I mean? He looked a bit lonely. He said he plays a lot of video games and things like that. His son was living in Spain. And you sort of felt for him. You know what I mean? But you know what? He didn't get down. He didn't throw up a transfer request. He didn't down the tools. He just knuckled down with it. He got on with it because he knew that this football club and this city relied on him. He was our talisman. We relied on Sergio Aguero. The whole of Manchester relied on him. The blue side of Manchester relied on Sergio Aguero. And Sergio Aguero never let us down. He never let us down. The trophies, I think he won 6 League Cups, an FA Cup, and 5 Premier League titles. He's leaving Manchester a true hero. He's leaving Manchester. He put a massive, massive mark on Manchester football in history for the blue side. He's welcome in this city any day of the week. He can walk around this city with his head held high. And even the Man United supporters, even the Man United supporters I spoke to will respect Sergio Aguero. And they'll say, you know what? That guy came and City was a bit of a laughingstock. But as soon as you seen him, you knew they meant business, you know what I mean? And the rest followed. The Yaya Tories and all the boys, they all followed when Sergio Aguero, they all followed suit by matching him, you know what I mean? Matching the effort. We built a great team. We won titles with it. But Sergio, it's like, I remember the semi-final against Chelsea at Wembley, the header, you know what I mean? He gets up, bang, heads it off the post and in, you know what I mean? I remember him 2-footing David Luiz getting sent off. I think he did that on purpose so he could have Christmas off, but hey ho, it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? I think he scored 184 goals. I think he broke all the records Thierry Henry set. He broke them all. Do you know what I mean? Most hat-tricks, goals per game ratio. He got more goals for one club than anyone in the Premier League has done in the history of it. I mean, this is a player that came to another country and just wanted it. He just wanted it more than anyone, and he bought into it. And the City fans loved him. We love him to death. There's a statue going up of him soon. I've heard they're talking about trying to get the North Stand named Sergio Aguero stand. Now, for me, that's fitting. Get it done. Manchester City, if you're out there, get it done. Anyone who's got that petition, I'll try and find a link. Get it signed up, man. Let's do it. For what Sergio Aguero did in our history, it's fitting. We've got the Colin Bell stand. We know about Colin. Now we want the Sergio Aguero stand. Get it done. Khaldoon, Sheikh Mansour, the fans want it. Get it done. Do you know what I mean? It's just unbelievable. Look, the memories. I remember the title-winning game, the title-winning game, right? I gets up in the morning. My arse is going, We've been to Newcastle and we've won. Now, I thought Newcastle was a banana skin. I've never been as nervous for a game in my life as Newcastle. Newcastle, I think, had beat United the week before. They were playing well. We had to go to St. James's Park. We won 2-0. Yaya Toure, I'm coming out the ground. The Newcastle fans are all piling out the ground. They're shaking our hand. I hope you go and win the league against QPR. I hope you go and win the league against QPR. To the neutral, they look at that and think, Man City's going to win the league. But to a Man City fan, who's used to cock-ups and throwing it away and false dawns, we were thinking, fucking hell, you couldn't pick a worse game. QPR at home, right? Wakes up that morning, absolutely shitting myself, Meets the boys having a few beers, couple of pubs around the ground, bit tentative. Sees a guy outside the ground selling scarves, champions. I said, mate, what you do with them? What, he went, champions, innit? I went, we're fucking not champions yet, you madhead. Don't even come near me with them scarves. You're just tempting fate, Remember having a few too many before the game, was a little bit blurry-eyed and that, but you had to because the nerves were bad. Never felt it. I was thinking, my first Premier League title in an hour's time. We could be champions of England for the first time in my lifetime. And I'm thinking, Do you know what? I've been everywhere that season under Mancini. We beat Tottenham 5-1. We've been everywhere, me and my pal. And people used to say to us, do you think you'll win the league? Do you think you'll win the league? And I used to say, look, we just got to keep rolling. And the game at Newcastle was the first time in my lifetime I heard a City end sing, we're going to win the league. And now you're going to believe us. That was the first time. And that is when I really got this belief that this is going to fucking happen. This is going to happen. So it gets in the ground, yeah. And the atmosphere is a bit of a carnival atmosphere, innit? You know what I mean? Then United scored at Sunderland. Yeah. So you're thinking, well, we knew they're going to beat Sunderland anyway. But then it lifts it a little bit. You could feel the tension in the crowd and people getting a bit like edgy in that. Pablo scores, Zabaleta, 1-0. Fucking buzzing. City ends buzzing. We're all singing and dancing. Everyone's getting that like, come on. And then the typical Manchester City voodoo curse kicks in. Yeah. Now, this club over the years, when you look back at the history of it, the things that have happened in this club will blow your mind. You know what I mean? And if anyone can throw away a title on the last day of the season, let me tell you, it's Manchester City. And Manchester City fans of a certain age will agree with me that I think there was a book out once called Cups for Cock-Ups. And exactly, we exchanged all the cups for the cock-ups. If we can cock anything up, Manchester City can do it. And how good Manchester City was that season to only go to in the last game to QPR to win the league, and we find ourselves 2-1 down. 2-1 down. And then you're thinking, I can't believe this. I can't believe it. We're going to be the laughing stock of Europe. I remember Schalke in Germany thinking they'd won the league and they invaded the pitch. Yeah. And I think Bayern Munich scored late on and they're showing it on the screen and Schalke had the league snatched away from him in seconds. And I was thinking that. I'm thinking, this is a Schalke moment here. We're thinking we're winning the league, last game of the season. Easy game against QPR. And we fucking bottled it. I swear to God. And my heart had gone. And I remember saying to my mate, he said to me, come on, man, we need to keep going. And I said, Paul, I'm physically fucking drained of this club. If we can't beat QPR in the last game of the season to win the league, I don't know if I can take it anymore. I've been a City fan all my life. You know what I mean? Season ticket, home, away, Europe, Division 2, everything. Man City runs through my blood. And that game was testing me to the limit. I've been beat all these shit grounds, York, Stoke. Fucking teams have wiped the floor with us and sang you're not famous anymore. Not bothered about that. Football's football. But this, I couldn't take it because I thought we're so close again. And you know, I always defended Man City that season. So I had my neck on the line, you know what I mean? And then 2-1 down QPR. So you know what happens then? We're pushing. We get the corner. Edin Dzeko scores. I didn't even cheer because I thought we'd fell on our ass. I thought that's made it worse. Dzeko scored to make it 2-2. That's made it worse. I said, because we're just so close. There were people leaving. There was people crying. Yeah. There were people deflated, sat on the seat. There was people sat on the floor. I literally sat on the backrest of my seat and I was just looking like this, thinking, fucking hell, I can't believe it. I'm looking at Mancini's ranting. I'm looking at the scoreboard. I'm seeing the time, 92 minutes, 93 minutes. And then I'll never forget it. My mate was at Sunderland, the United fan, yeah? And he sent me a message and I'll never forget it. And the phone beeped, yeah? I picked the phone up like that and I looked and he said on it, we are the champions. That's what he said, United fan. And I text back, not yet, you know. That was just pure pride, out of pride. Not because I thought we were going to get a last minute winner. Pure pride, yeah? And as that text sent, yeah, I looked up and Nigel de Jong was pumping down the pitch with the ball. He's laid the ball into Balotelli. Balotelli's turned, slid, poked it to Aguero. To Sergio Aguero. Of all the men on the pitch. And you're thinking, shoot. He takes one touch, yeah? One touch. You think Nederman was going to bring him down. He catches him. If Aguero goes down, it's a pen. But not Aguero. He takes one touch, steadies himself. Boom. Aguero! The scenes, yeah, in that stadium that day will never be repeated in history, let me tell you. The feeling that went through my body from the toes to my head in that moment will never be repeated in the history of football for me. And the noise, I've never heard anything like it. My best mate grabs me, we're falling on the floor, there's people piling on top of us, there's people crying. If you've never seen anything like it, yeah? Anything like it. And that man there, he created that memory for me and all them other Blues in that stadium. That man there created that memory for me, yeah? And all my fellow City fans in the bars, in the pubs, in the houses, all across the world that were sat watching that game for this team to finally win the Premier League. And Sergio Aguero, he done it. It was the greatest moment in football history for me. And that man brought it home for me. He will, my family, my kids, my grandkids will always know about Sergio Aguero and what happiness and joy he brought to Manchester. And that moment alone, to steal the Premier League title from your nearest rivals in the last kick of the game will never be beaten. So people can talk about history, about clubs and trophies and stuff. You can do it. But that bit of history there will never be taken away from that football club and that man. Never ever. Sergio Aguero, the greatest player Manchester City's ever had for me. Do you know what I mean? And he can hold his head high and say, look back on his career. And these people can look back on their careers and think, I should have done that. I should have done that. But he can look back on his career and say, I did that. I brought the title to Manchester. I broke the mould. I brought it there for them people. I brought happiness to them, that fan base. I did exactly what I said I was going to do when I signed. You know what I mean? And he done it. And listen, that day will forever go down in memory as the greatest day of my life. You know what I mean? The party afterwards in Manchester City Centre, people dancing in the fountains. The week after, off work, on the piss, on a bender for a week. Because I never thought I'd see it. And I lived off it. And that moment, I could watch that Aguero moment now. Goosebumps all across your body. But when you lived it, when you was there, when you've done a full season, getting behind a team, home, away, cold, driving home in rain, sleet, snow, getting beat sometimes, one up time, one down one time. When you do a full season and it comes to that, and that man there, yeah, scores that goal, you know you've got a special player. And listen, the trophies he won at Manchester City, the way he represented Manchester City as a human being as well was unbelievable. But look, he'll always be remembered for that goal. So all I want to say out there is to everybody, put your favourite Sergio Aguero moments in the comment, yeah? Let's get the messages over to him, message his family, all that. Tell him how much we love him. Let's get that North stand named the Sergio Aguero stand. And let's make sure Sergio Aguero is never, ever forgotten in Manchester. You know what I mean? Let's make sure the Manchester City fans need to do something for him. We need a Sergio Aguero day. We need a Sergio Aguero day. We need to pick a game, Sergio Aguero day, and we need to turn up. Argentinian flags, Premier League flags, anything that reminds us of Sergio, we need to do it. We need to do a Sergio Aguero day. Listen, this guy, for us, he's the most iconic player in our history. And he's had a little bit of tragedy in his life at the minute. And we wish him all the best. So if we can do something as fans and pull together and do an Aguero day or something like that, you know what I mean? Let's do it. You know what I mean? I'm willing to chip in. If anyone wants to get a massive flag, let me know the costings of it. I'll help out with it. Let's do it. Let's get it in there. And basically, let's give him a good send-off. We need him back at the Etihad. City, you need to get him back here with his family, get him on the pitch. We need him here. We need a testimonial or something for the guy. And we need him to play fucking last 10 minutes or something. You know what I mean? Surely to God that. Score a pen. Do whatever. We just need that Aguero in our life again, innit? You know what I mean? After watching that today, I need Aguero back in my life in some role. You know what I mean? But listen, Sergio, if you ever see this video, thanks for the memories. Thank you for everything you've done for Manchester City Football Club. Thank you to you and your family and everyone for embracing the city. And let me tell you, you'll never be as loved anywhere else in the world as you are in Manchester. So from me, that's my little tribute to Sergio Aguero. God bless him. Enjoy your retirement. And we hope to see you back at the Etihad soon. Sergio, 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 Sergio.